Today I'm going to share 3 things that you want to avoid when doing intermittent fasting. Let's go. Hi, I'm Aleksa, the climate dietitian, sports dietitian, and nutrition coach. Welcome back to my video. Thank you so much for watching. But as always, before we deep dive into today's lesson, remember, subscribe, ring the bell, awesome. So intermittent fasting is like any approach to nutrition. There are pros and there are cons. There are good ways and there are bad ways of doing it. And therefore, there are mistakes that you want to avoid so that you can do the approach effectively and healthily. And today I'm going to share 3 mistakes that I've noticed in my time working as a dietitian that you want to avoid if you are to be successful. So perhaps you've decided to do intermittent fasting because you want to lose a bit of weight. You want to get maybe leaner, you just want to get a better physique. Well, that still doesn't mean that you should be doing things without knowing what not to do as well. Sometimes this is just as important, especially when we're talking about an approach such as intermittent fasting that can quickly become a slippery slope if you're not careful. I've seen it happen. So here are the 3 things that you want to avoid if you want to do intermittent fasting. Number 1, disregarding calories in, calories out. Look, intermittent fasting is not magic. Let's get that straight. And calories still matter. So if you're disregarding the importance of calorie balance and making sure your calories in and calories out is where it needs to be for the goal you're trying to achieve, well, you're not going to get the results, okay? Because intermittent fasting does not negate calories. Too many people go into intermittent fasting thinking that it's a magic solution. It's just going to fix their problems. That's going to get them the results just because they're doing intermittent fasting. That's just not the way it works. Intermittent fasting is a framework, it's a tool, it's a way of kind of controlling your calories to help you do so. But you still have to be aware of what calories you're consuming. You still got to make sure you're in a calorie deficit if you're trying to lose weight, or a calorie surplus if you're trying to gain weight. Okay, the principles are still the same when it comes to that science. So remember, intermittent fasting is not magic in itself. You still need to be watching calories in, calories out. The second thing is only eating 1 meal a day. Now, I couldn't tell you how many times people would be like, oh, I'm doing intermittent fasting. I've just decided to do it and I'm eating 1 meal a day and yeah, I'm sure this is going to help me lose weight. Well, here's the thing. Losing weight and being healthy are not synonymous with each other. It doesn't mean because you're losing weight, you'll be healthy. It doesn't mean if you're getting healthy, you're losing weight, okay? So you can't be disregarding the importance of nutritional adequacy. And let me assure you, 1 meal a day is not enough to get your nutritional need. Your body doesn't work that way. Okay, it's not just like a machine, like a tank of gas. You just put some gas in and you're good because as long as you get enough fuel. It doesn't work exactly like that. You need to be optimizing the way your body uses the fuel, the foods that you consume. And that just does not happen in 1 meal. You've got to allow more meals for your body to break down the nutrients and absorb them and so on and so forth. I'm not going to get into the specifics of it because that's just going to bore you. But basically, just know that 1 meal a day is not enough for your body to grab the nutrients from that food. It doesn't work that way. And most likely, you don't really enjoy 1 meal a day, truthfully. And if you do, well, try and eat more still, okay? Some more meals so you can break up your intake, optimize that nutritional intake, and optimize your health at the same time. And then the third thing that I want you to be aware of, the thing I want you to avoid is using intermittent fasting for performance. Okay, so I'm going to set the record straight here. If you're trying to use intermittent fasting to maybe get healthier by losing some body weight or just to improve your physique generally, and you're not really going for performance, then that could be okay. Okay, I can't say yes or no whether it's still a right approach for you or whether you should or should not do it, but it could be okay for you. But if you're an athletic individual, especially if you're like an athlete, high-level athlete who's doing some competitions and you're trying to optimize performance, intermittent fasting may not be right for you, okay? Unless you're working with a sports dietitian who can really kind of tailor around you and making sure you're still balanced to some degree. But even then, like it's not really an optimized approach for the athlete, for the performance kind of focused athlete. It just doesn't work that way because you're limiting the amount of time that you can actually fuel and recover, okay? Because if you're having like a big, let's say, day of competition and you need to recover for the next day, that evening, if you're not eating until 12 o'clock, you're really kind of setting yourself up for failure because what could happen is you're not getting enough fuels to recover before the next kind of competition, okay? Hope that makes sense. There's the very basics around sports nutrition and recovery that really kind of get pushed aside when you do something such as intermittent fasting. So while yes, there's of course going to be athletes that do intermittent fasting and are fine, and yes, while you can still optimize performance as an athlete doing intermittent fasting, it's not really the most ideal situation. And it's not one that I generally recommend, especially from the get-go. But of course, if you're really set in your ways and you're like, I really want to do intermittent fasting, like that's all I want to do, then please just seek out a sports dietitian, send me a message and we'll see what I can do to help you. Just Don't do it alone, because what could happen is you'll be trying to optimize your performance, but you won't be getting there, okay? Or you'll be doing it in a lackluster fashion, and therefore you won't be ahead of your competition, you'll be behind. So you don't use intermittent fasting necessarily for a performance boost. It won't have that effect. I mean, even if you're trying to gain muscle, intermittent fasting is not that optimized, okay? So if you're trying to do it for health or some weight loss, or just generally because you prefer to eat that way, that's okay. But if you're trying to optimize performance or even muscle mass, there are other better ways to do it. Hope that makes sense. Okay, so now you know the things to avoid if you're doing intermittent fasting but want to be effective and efficient with your nutrition and succeed in achieving your results. Now, not only have I helped clients implement intermittent fasting, but I've actually been doing intermittent fasting myself right now. So if you want someone to help you implement intermittent fasting in your life or find a solution that works for you, well, I'm your dietitian. I can help provide the guidance needed for you to create greater impact with your nutrition in 2020. My coaching experience, the flexible macro, may be the solution that you are looking for, okay? The solution that you need. I'll personally work with you to create a lifestyle nutrition plan for long-term success, and I'll coach you to your best results yet. In fact, currently I have spots in my coaching program available, so if you're ready to take action, if you're interested in applying, please hit the link in the description below and apply now to see if you're the right fit. Alternatively, if you've got questions about my approach beforehand, you can obviously send me an email at aleksa@theclimbedietitian.com.au. Now, as always, if you've got questions about today's video, please drop them in the comments below and I'll get to them and answer the questions for you. Smash the like button, okay? Smash the like button if you found this video helpful, if you now have more clarity around intermittent fasting and what you need to do and now not do. Subscribe as always if you haven't already done so. Stay classy. I'll see you next time. Have a good one.